Now that we know how to draw shapes and how to change their color, we'll learn how to combine them. In this example, we'll design the figure of a man. We can start by drawing a circle for its head, and we'll draw a rectangle for his body. We do want to cut out the shape that we are creating in the end, so we'll set the stroke paint color to red, and we will turn off the fill color in order to get a better idea of what's going on with the lines. We can now double click the rectangle for the body again, and we'll round over the corners to make the body look a little bit better. Now we will use the Align and Distribute tool. This will make it very easy for us to position the head exactly in the middle of the body. The simplest way to open this menu is by clicking the Align and Distribute icon on the top of the screen, but you can also find it in the menu under the Object tab. When we are in this menu, we can select multiple objects, and we can do this by holding the Shift key. Now we can choose how we want to align these two shapes. In this case, we want to center them on the vertical axis. We select the correct button, and the two shapes will relocate automatically. We'll move up the head a little bit. We can do this by selecting it and dragging it up, but be sure to hold the Control key on your keyboard, and this will limit the movement to only a vertical or horizontal motion. This way the head will also stay in the middle of our body while we are moving it up. Now we will draw an additional rectangle for his neck. We'll also make the corners sharp again. And we'll use the Align and Distribute menu again to make sure that the neck is also in the middle of our design. And right now we have a little bit of a problem. All the red lines will be cut by our machine. So in the end we're not going to end up with one continuous piece, but with 5 separate pieces instead. We need to use something called a Boolean operation to solve this problem. First of all, we'll select our 3 shapes by clicking them with the left mouse button while holding the Shift button. Then we can go into the Path menu and select Union. This Boolean operation will delete all the overlapping parts in our design, thus leaving us with one single contour line. Now we can draw the first arm, which is again a rectangle with the corners round over, and we are going to rotate it. First of all, we have to select our object. When we click on it, you will see that there are straight arrows. We can use these to resize our object. If we now click our object again, the arrows will become curved. Now you can use these arrows in order to rotate your object. If one of our arms is finished, we can just duplicate it to generate the second one. Press Ctrl D in order to do this, or go to Edit and then select Duplicate. This will generate a copy of the shape and put it on top of itself. We can now drag it to another position. We can flip the object horizontally using this icon in the tool control box. And once the second arm is in the correct place, we can use the Union operation again to delete the overlap. And now we have to do exactly the same for the legs. We'll draw a rectangle, we'll round it over, we'll duplicate it, and we'll do the Union operation. And now our silhouette shape is finished. We will add some additional details, like star-shaped eyes for example. These will all be engraved, so we'll turn the stroke color to blue. And again we can draw one star and duplicate it for the second eye. We can draw a half circle to give him a smiley face. And we'll draw some additional circles that will represent the buttons. Again, we can just draw one and duplicate the others. And it doesn't really matter where we position them right now, because we can always rearrange them using the Align and Distribute tool. We just have to select all the buttons, center them on the vertical axis, and make the vertical gaps equal. We can now add our overall silhouette shape to the selection, and when we now center it on the vertical axis again, they will be exactly in the middle of our figure. Now, While we were designing our figure, we didn't pay any attention on how big it would end up. We can easily adjust this afterwards. We just have to drag and select everything in our design, make sure that the lock icon on the top of the screen is pressed in, and then we can just enter one dimension for the width or the height, and all of our design will resize appropriately. Now that you've got the hang of combining different shapes, in the next video we'll show you how to draw your own path.